At this age, women become much more mature emotionally, sensually, and physically. They're no longer playing games half-heartedly. There's less drama or small talk. They know what they want and how to get it. Their passion is no longer just spontaneous lust, but a controlled desire. Their touch feels more purposeful, more conscious, and strategic. Eye contact, body movements, and heavy breathing can all be signals that make their partner tremble even before the game begins. And most remarkably, they enjoy every moment to the fullest, not only to satisfy themselves, but also to immerse their partner in deeper pleasure. At this stage, women can transform into incredibly alluring figures in bed. They're not just partners, but also mood controllers who know how to make the night unforgettable. It's not just their seductive bodies that are seductive, but also their experience and technique. One touch can leave a lasting impression. One tease can make someone lose their way. Women at this age don't ask to be pampered, they actually enjoy a challenge. And if you can keep up with them, be prepared because their energy can be quite draining. Fourth fact, ages 36 to 40. If you think women's passion decreases with age, perhaps you need to change that view. Because at this stage, what emerges is no longer ordinary heat, but a deeper and more intense heat. Like a fire that seems calm, but once ignited, it can burn everything. Women at this age no longer seek validation from anyone. They don't need praise to feel attractive, because they already know their bodies and their own worth. Their confidence feels natural, not feigned. Even their gaze can sometimes feel domineering. They not only know how to play, but also how to control the game. Every movement feels meaningful, and most interestingly, they are present not only physically, but also mentally and emotionally. At this age, women's passion can be very strong because they already know how to enjoy and control the atmosphere. It's not just about speed or touch, but also about rhythm and dominance. They know when to let their partner lead and when to take charge themselves. What often overwhelms men is their courage to express what they want directly. No more using codes or being shy, because for them, pleasure isn't something to be suppressed. So if you're brave enough to approach women aged 36 to 40, be prepared to encounter a wild side hidden beneath their maturity. Fifth fact, age 45 and above. Many people assume women's libido declines after age 40, but the reality is quite different. Many women over 45 are experiencing a new awakening phase in their lives. They're no longer young women still searching for their identity. They truly know who they are and what they want, including in the bedroom. It's no longer about exploration, but about complete control of their own bodies and desires. They may not be as physically young as they were when they were young, but in terms of experience, technique, and how to create an atmosphere, they can captivate their partners effortlessly. They've gone through a lot of life experiences and now just want to enjoy life more freely. Many women at this age actually feel more liberated, bolder, and more comfortable with themselves. Because for them, intimacy is no longer taboo, but an art they understand very well. They know the secret spots, know how to play with timing, and don't rush. But when the moment comes, they can turn into a slow but devastating storm. Women at this age don't chase or beg for attention, but if you're lucky enough to enter their world, you'll realize that passion truly knows no age. They are living proof that sometimes the most alluring aren't the youngest, but the most experienced. Now you know that women's passion doesn't always peak at a young age. In fact, as they age, many women become more confident and more seductive. From being initially just curious, they transform into figures who know how to lead the game, and often the hottest ones come from those who are underestimated, because every age has its own charm and every phase has its own unique way of enjoying relationships. Have you ever wondered at what age women are most seductive during sex? It's not just about passion, but also about their confidence, courage, and even how they create the atmosphere that keeps their partners up at night. Many people assume that women's sexual arousal peaks only at a young age. However, the reality isn't that simple. In fact, there are certain phases where women can become incredibly hot without much effort. This isn't just due to their physical appearance, but also due to their maturity, experience, and understanding of their own bodies. In this video, we'll discuss 5 golden ages when women can appear like queens in bed. If you still think your 20s are your wildest phase, perhaps after this video your perspective will completely change. Because most surprisingly, a woman's most intense period often comes when many people think their passion is starting to wane. So don't jump to conclusions before watching until the end. Especially fact number 3, it might make you think twice and maybe even get nervous. Let's dive into them one by one. The first fact, ages 18 to 21. At this stage, young women are in a time of intense curiosity. Desires begin to grow stronger and their bodies are in a state of extreme freshness. Many women at this age are beginning to discover their sensual side. While not all of them have the courage to express it openly, the passion is already starting to become palpable. There's a stirring in their bodies that's slowly becoming difficult to ignore. The desire to try new things, to be touched, and even to take control begins to emerge little by little, and that's precisely where their wild side lies. They don't yet fully understand their boundaries, and they don't yet know what's safe and what's dangerous. Sometimes they're spontaneous, sometimes reckless, and often flirtatious without realizing it. They're like a small flame that can flare up with just one spark. Their passion is still very high. Although their movements aren't yet fully practiced, their passion can be overwhelming. This is a stage where fantasies begin to run wild, though not all of them dare to act on them. Sometimes they're still shy, but secretly curious and eager to explore further. Many men can even be overwhelmed by the energy of women at this age. Despite their inexperience, they're eager for new sensations. Every small touch and every whisper can turn into an emotional explosion that escalates the atmosphere. They haven't experienced much baggage or trauma yet. Everything still feels innocent, but that's precisely what makes them seductive. So don't be surprised if women at this age can make your heart race with just a glance. Because sometimes the wildest aren't the most experienced, but the most curious. Second fact, ages 25 to 29. At this age, women are no longer novices. They're starting to truly understand the rhythm of the game, understand their own bodies, and know how to unsettle their partners without having to move much. This is the phase when shyness begins to diminish and self-confidence soars. While previously they were still getting to know their bodies, by the age of 25 they've already memorized the most sensitive areas and how to play with them. They know when to be gentle, when to be aggressive, and most interestingly, they're starting to enjoy the whole process. They're not just seeking personal satisfaction, but also seeking to keep their partners hooked. Their way of touching feels different, bolder, more seductive, and more playful. Their gaze and the way they speak can sometimes be enough to heat things up before anything even begins. This age is a combination of a still prime physique and a beginning to open mindset. They start to enjoy exploration, embrace new challenges, and have a stronger endurance. And if you can give them what they want, be prepared to receive a reward you might never have imagined. Many men consider women at this age to be addictive, because they're not only hot, but they also know how to control the game. They know when to touch and how to create an atmosphere that makes it hard for their partner to forget them. At 25 to 29, it's no longer just about experimenting. It's about enjoying and completely mastering the game. Third fact, ages 30 to 35. This is the phase often considered the peak of everything. Many men who have been with women at this age admit that they find it hard to forget them, because it's not just hot, it's truly burning.